Hi everyone, welcome to the Tragical show, and today I'm gonna talk about my top 10 horror movie franchises, with number one as my favorite and number 10 as my least favorite. First of all, I love all these more movies and franchises, but yeah, some of them are less good, but they still work. And first, I want to say I love horror movies. Even though I think that horror movies nowadays sucks or are just not very good. Like I love the first Conjuring, but the second one was, in my opinion, disappointing. The same goes with Sinister 1 and 2. This video is also inspired by Cutie Pie Marzia's video about her top 10 horror movies. I will link the video in the description. But here's my list of top 10 horror movie franchises, and I consider a franchise 3 movies or more. And as a reminder, this is my list, my opinions, because we all have different opinions about things. If you get your own list, please comment below and share it, and let me see what kind of horror movies you like. First off, we kick off with the number 10, and it's The Exorcist. If you haven't watched the Exorcist movie, then you have missed something. It's a classic, and it's one of those movies that you really have to watch if you love that horror genre. I really love the possession type of movies, and The Exorcist is one of the greatest ever. And it's also inspired by a true event, and horror movies just get better if they are. The whole franchise is amazing, even though some of the sequels are a little less great. They're still enjoyable, so go and watch them. At number 9 is I Spit on Your Grave. As I said before, I love horror movies, and I basically smile when someone gets stabbed or possessed, but these movies are brutal. When I first saw the remake, because I hadn't seen the original yet, but when I saw the remake, I was shocked and I had to pause the movie. And I didn't continue the movie until a few days later because the scenes are so horrific. And these are the only horror movies that I can barely watch because it's so disturbing. For you that haven't seen the movies, they are called the rape and revenge films. So it's the rape scenes that I'm talking about right now that are brutal. So watch them, but not if you're easily offended or something like that. The two sequels is as much as brutal and violent as the first and the original. Number 8 is I Know What You Did Last Summer. This is kind of like a typical slasher teen movie, but it's still great. I love them, and I've actually have a lot of inspiration from this and Scream to make my own short horror movie. So if you're a slasher movie fan, then I highly recommend I Know What You Did Last Summer. The sequels are also great. Well, the third one is the worst of them, but I still liked it though. It was, it wasn't the original cast. They did a different thing with it, but it's still good. Number 7 is Paranormal Activity. I know that a lot of people hate these movies, but when I first saw the first movie, I almost shit in my pants. And I can agree now that they aren't that scary, maybe because I've seen them so much, but they're really good. I love the idea of that it seems like it's real footage from real persons. And I can also say that the movies after the first one gets worse with each movie. But I still watch them all, and my favorites are probably the first, the fourth, and the last one. Number 6 is Saw. The Saw franchise is for many the same movie that recycles, but personally I see something new in every movie, and yes, there are one or two movies that are bad, but together they are all fantastic, made with the torture and the puzzles. Their lives are basically a game, and I think that's a great connection to real life, and that is why I like these movies. Number 5 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You gotta have this massacre on the list, inspired by the real killer Ed Gein, and these movies, especially the original, is disturbing. When I first saw the movie and the whole franchise, still today I get chills when Leatherface runs with the chainsaw. The remakes are also great, so I highly recommend these. If you are one of the few people that haven't still seen them, go and do that. Number 4 is A Nightmare on Elm Street by Wes Craven himself, and the fear of not wanting to go to sleep is a great theme. Uh, Robert Englund, or as we say in Swedish, Robert Englund, is fantastic as Freddy Krueger, and this franchise is a must. All horror fans need to watch these movies. Well, the remake is optional because it was not really that good. I only watch it because of Katie Cassidy, and she's not in it a lot. The remake is okay, but I wouldn't recommend it if you're going to watch a horror movie one night with a few friends. If you're going to do that, just watch it original or something else. Number 3 is Halloween. The same goes for Halloween. This is a must see. And yes, there are sequels and other, not spin-off, but remakes that are less good. And yeah, the remakes, in my opinion, doesn't live up to the original. But everyone knows these movies, and Michael Myers is an icon. I don't need to say anymore. It's fucking Halloween. Number 2 is Friday the 13th. I don't need to say much about Friday the 13th either. It's Jason, it's slasher, iconic, classic. Everyone knows this franchise. Even the remake was amazing. Every time I watch these movies, I get filled with joy. So yeah, I don't need to say more. Friday the 13th gets the number 2 spot. And number 1 franchise that is my favorite is Scream. Scream was the first horror movie that I watched, and I was about probably 5 or 6 when I saw it. And ever since that day, I've been obsessed with horror. Not only horror, but I became a movie fan in general. But yeah, I fell in love with horror. I used it in my rap songs. When I rap, I mostly nowadays just do horror songs. But I also want to star or write and direct a horror movie. And this is all just because of Scream. I really like this kind of slasher because it was so different from the other slasher movies. The other slasher movies like Stab Stab, and the sequels continued. Scream brought something different to the table with, they live in like a real world. This could happen in real life. When we talk about Jason and Michael, they are like more immortals. You can't kill them, but the Ghostface killer you can kill, because there are different killers in every movie. So yeah, rest in peace to Wes Craven. You really made a whole new type of horror genre with Scream. So thank you for this, and that was my top 10 horror movie franchises. Like if you want me to do more of these kind of videos, don't forget to subscribe and also turn on alerts so you don't miss anything. And I'll see you in the next video.